SCP-682, also known as the hard-to-destroy reptile, was a formidable and indestructible creature that had been contained by the SCP Foundation for years. However, one fateful day, the containment breach occurred, and SCP-682 found itself facing off against two powerful aliens from the Ben 10 universe, Homungosaur and Way Big. Homungosaur, a dinosaur-like alien with spike scales covering his body, had increased his size even further by growing spikes on his back and tail, resembling a stegosaurus. Despite his impressive size and strength, he was still smaller than Way Big, a towering alien with a red and white body the size of a skyscraper, complete with a head, fin and bladed arms. As the two aliens unleashed their massive fists and cosmic rays at SCP-682, the creature fought back fiercely, emitting green energy waves from its roar and bladed tail swipe. The battle raged on for hours, with shockwaves reverberating through the area as the combatants clashed with each other. In the distance, the romantic alien duo of male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched the battle unfold, their arms casually folded as they observed the intense confrontation. As the fight reached its climax, SCP-682 and the two giant aliens collided with such force that the ground shook, sending smoke and debris flying. The aftermath of the clash left SCP-682 and the two aliens panting heavily, their massive bodies collapsed on the ground. Homungosaur and Way Big, exhausted and weakened, suggested to male Swampfire that they topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could recover. With great effort, Swampfire used his plant-like abilities to push the tower, burying SCP-682 under the rubble. As the dust settled, male Swampfire and female Big Chill exchanged smiles and chuckles, their bond strengthened by the shared experience. They made their way back to their portal, leaving behind a sleeping Ben Tennyson, the hero of the Ben 10 series. Even in his sleep, Ben questioned the romantic alien duo about their adventures, his arm raised as he lay on the bed. The event-driven story was filled with thrilling action and creative twists, as the powerful entities clashed in a battle of epic proportions. Despite the intense struggle, the romantic duo of male Swampfire and female Big Chill emerged victorious, showcasing their strength and unity in the face of danger. As the night fell and calm returned to the scene, the heroes and aliens retreated to rest, their adventures momentarily paused but their spirits undimmed. The tale of SCP-682's encounter with Homungosaur and Way Big would be remembered as a legendary battle, where strength, courage, and love triumphed in the face of overwhelming odds. In the darkness of the night, the towering figures of SCP-682, Homungosaur, and Way Big loomed over the landscape, their immense forms casting long shadows across the barren terrain. The air crackled with tension as the three beings faced off against each other, each one ready to unleash their full power in a battle for supremacy. SCP-682, the infamous reptilian creature known for its unyielding resilience and destructive capabilities, snarled as it prepared to unleash its fury upon its formidable opponents. Its emerald eyes glowed with malice as it flexed its razor-sharp claws, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Homungosaur, with his enlarged body and spiked scaly back reminiscent of a stegosaurus, stood defiantly in the face of SCP-682. His muscles bulged with raw power as he prepared to unleash his brute strength upon the relentless reptile before him. Way Big, the towering alien with a body the size of a skyscraper and arm blades that gleamed in the moonlight, exuded a sense of calm confidence as he raised his arms in an X-shaped manner, ready to unleash his cosmic rays upon his foes. The clash of titans began as Way Big released a torrent of cosmic energy from his crossed arms, sending SCP-682 hurtling through the air before crashing to the ground with a thunderous impact. The ground trembled beneath the force of the blow as SCP-682 roared in defiance, unleashing waves of green energy that pushed back both Way Big and Homungosaur. Undeterred, the two alien giants continued their assault, using their massive size and strength to rip at SCP-682's limbs with ferocious intent. But SCP-682's regenerative abilities proved to be a formidable defense, quickly regrowing its severed limbs and retaliating with a flurry of devastating blows from its bladed tail and claws. As the battle raged on, the romantic alien duo of male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched from a distance, their arms folded as they observed the epic showdown with a sense of awe and admiration. The sheer power and intensity of the battle left them speechless, their eyes wide with wonder at the sheer spectacle unfolding before them. Hours passed as the three beings clashed relentlessly, generating shockwaves with each collision that rocked the very foundation of the earth. The air crackled with energy as the combatants clashed with unparalleled force, each one determined to emerge victorious from the brutal confrontation. Finally, after a grueling 10 hours of non-stop combat, SCP-682 and the two giant aliens stood panting heavily, their bodies battered and bruised from the intense battle. With one final clash, a massive shockwave rippled through the air, sending smoke billowing into the night sky as the combatants collapsed to the ground, exhausted and defeated. As male Swampfire and female Big Chill approached the fallen bodies of Homungosaur and Way Big, the former implored Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could rise again. With great effort, Swampfire used his plant-like abilities to uproot the tower, sending it crashing down onto the motionless form of SCP-682, burying it beneath a mountain of rubble. With the battle finally over, the romantic alien duo exchanged smiles and chuckles before disappearing through a portal, leaving Ben Tennyson to slumber peacefully in his bed, unaware of the epic battle that had taken place in the darkness of the night. The night was filled with a sense of awe and wonder, the memory of the titanic clash between SCP-682, Homungosaur, and Way Big etched into the minds of all who witnessed it. It was a battle for the ages, a clash of titans that would be remembered for generations to come. And as the night faded into dawn, the world remained in awe of the sheer power and majesty of these incredible beings, forever entwined in the annals of history. Ben Tennyson, sleepily, what were you two up to this time? Male Swampfire, chuckles, just a little battle with some big aliens, nothing we couldn't handle. Female Big Chill, smirks, yeah, just saving the day as usual. Ben Tennyson, mumbling, you guys always find a way to get into trouble, don't you? Male Swampfire, laughs, hey, it's all in a day's work for us. Plus, it was a pretty epic battle if I do say so myself. Female Big Chill. Giggles, we definitely showed them who's boss. Ben Tennyson. Mumbling, always getting into trouble, but I guess that's what makes you guys the heroes. Male Swampfire. Smirks, someone's gotta do it, right? Female Big Chill. Nudges Ben, don't worry, we'll always have your back, even when you're fast asleep. Ben Tennyson. Half asleep, thanks guys, you're the best. Male Swampfire. Proudly, that's what friends are for, Ben. Now get some rest, you've got a big day of alien adventures ahead of you tomorrow. Female Big Chill. Smiles, sweet dreams, Ben. As Ben Tennyson drifts off into a peaceful sleep, the romantic alien duo of male Swampfire and female Big Chill stand guard, ready to protect their friend from any danger that may come his way. And as the night grows quiet, their bond remains strong, united in their mission to defend the universe from all threats, big or small. With their love and loyalty guiding them, they know that no challenge is too great, no obstacle too daunting. And so, they stand vigil, watching over Ben Tennyson as he sleeps, knowing that they will always be there for him, no matter what the future may bring. Words. 275. In the peaceful town of Bellwood, a sudden rift in the space-time continuum brought together two of the most powerful beings in the universe. SCP-682, the infamous reptilian entity with an insatiable hunger for destruction, found itself facing off against Humingosaur and Waybig, two aliens from the popular series Ben 10 who had gained independence from the Omnitrix. Humingosaur, now towering over the landscape with spikes adorning his scaly back and tail like a stegosaurus, still paled in comparison to Waybig, the giant with a red and white body the size of a skyscraper. Waybig's head fin and arm blades gleamed in the sunlight as he prepared to take on the formidable SCP-682. As the battle ensued, the ground trembled with each thunderous step taken by the combatants. Waybig crossed his arms in an X-shaped manner, releasing cosmic rays that struck SCP-682 with incredible force, sending the creature crashing to the ground. But SCP-682 was not one to be taken down easily, unleashing green energy waves from its roar that pushed back both aliens. The clash of titans continued for hours on end, with each combatant using their immense size and strength to gain the upper hand. Waybig and Humingosaur attempted to rip apart SCP-682's limbs, only for the creature to regenerate them with its glowing green eyes. With every clash, shockwaves rippled through the air, causing devastation in their wake. In the distance, the romantic alien duo of male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched the battle unfold, their arms folded or crossed as they observed the chaos. Swampfire used his plant-like abilities to anchor himself to the ground, while Big Chill shielded herself with her wings to avoid being blown away by the explosive force of the clash. As the final confrontation reached its climax, SCP-682 and the two aliens collided with such force that the resulting shockwaves obliterated everything in their path. Big Chill and Swampfire braced themselves against the torrent of energy, watching as the towering forms of their rivals collapsed to the ground, panting heavily from the exertion. Humingosaur, with his last ounce of strength, pleaded for Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could rise again. With great effort, Swampfire managed to push the tower over, burying the motionless form of SCP-682 beneath the rubble. As the dust settled, a sense of relief washed over the weary combatants. The romantic alien duo shared a chuckle and a smile as they made their way back to their portal, leaving behind a sleeping Ben Tennyson, the wielder of the Omnitrix, who stirred slightly in his slumber. As he mumbled about their antics, Big Chill and Swampfire exchanged knowing glances, their adventures far from over in the vast expanse of the universe. In the quiet of the night, Bellwood returned to its peaceful state, unaware of the epic clash that had taken place on its doorstep. And as the stars glittered in the night sky, the echoes of the battle between SCP-682 and the alien heroes lingered, a testament to the endless wonders and dangers of the cosmos. Words. On a quiet night in a remote location, a fierce battle was about to unfold. SCP-682, the infamous reptilian creature known for its regenerative abilities and relentless aggression, found itself facing off against two formidable foes from another world. Humingosaur, a dinosaur-like alien with spiked scales and immense strength, and Waybig, a towering giant with cosmic powers, stood defiantly against the monstrous SCP-682. As the two aliens, now living independently outside of the Omnitrix, banded together to take on SCP-682, the ground shook with the sheer force of their clashes. Humingosaur grew in size, resembling a stegosaurus with spikes on his back and tail, though he was still dwarfed by the colossal Waybig. The giant alien raised his arms in an X-shaped gesture, unleashing powerful cosmic rays that sent SCP-682 flying and crashing to the ground. But SCP-682 was not one to go down so easily. Emitting green energy waves from its roar, the creature pushed back both aliens with astonishing force. Using its bladed tail, SCP-682 unleashed explosions near its adversaries, causing them to stagger back. Humingosaur and Waybig rallied, using their immense strength to rip at SCP-682's limbs, only to be thwarted by the creature's regenerative abilities. The battle raged on for hours, with shockwaves rippling through the landscape with each clash. In the distance, the alien duo male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched the spectacle unfold, their expressions calm and collected. Male Swampfire used his plant-like abilities to anchor himself to the ground, while female Big Chill shielded herself with her wings, bracing against the powerful shockwaves. As the final showdown approached, the intensity of the clash reached its peak. SCP-682 and the two aliens collided with such force that the ground trembled, sending shockwaves rippling outwards. Despite their exhaustion, the combatants stood their ground, panting heavily as they faced off once more. With a final burst of energy, SCP-682 and the giant aliens collapsed, their bodies creating a massive cloud of smoke as they lay motionless on the ground. Humingosaur, barely able to speak through his exhaustion, urged Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could rise again. With great effort, Swampfire managed to push the tower over, burying SCP-682 under the rubble. As male Swampfire and female Big Chill shared a quiet moment of victory, they made their way back through a portal, leaving the sleeping Ben Tennyson behind. In his slumber, Ben mumbled about their escapades, prompting a chuckle from the alien duo. With a sense of accomplishment and camaraderie, male Swampfire and female Big Chill settled in for the night, their arms casually crossed as they watched over Ben, the hero of many adventures. As the stars twinkled overhead, a sense of peace settled over the battlefield, knowing that for now, SCP-682 had been bested by the combined might of two alien warriors. The night passed without incident, but the memory of the epic battle lingered in the minds of all those who had witnessed it, a testament to the strength and resilience of those who would stand against any threat, no matter how formidable. The night was dark and the air was filled with tension as SCP-682, the infamous reptilian creature known for its unstoppable regenerative abilities, faced off against the towering alien beings Hummingosaur and Waybig. The two aliens, now living independently out of the Omnitrix, had grown in size and strength, ready to take on the monstrous SCP-682. Hummingosaur, with spikes growing on its scaly back and tail like a stegosaurus, was still smaller than the giant Waybig, who stood tall like a skyscraper with red and white body markings and arm blades on his elbows. The two aliens wasted no time in using their massive size and strength to strike at SCP-682, their massive fists raining down on the creature. Waybig crossed his arms in an X shape, releasing cosmic rays from his crossed arms that sent SCP-682 flying, crashing into the ground. But SCP-682 was not so easily defeated. The creature emitted green energy waves from its roar, pushing back the giant aliens. It then unleashed a bladed tail swipe, causing explosions near the bodies of Hummingosaur and Waybig. The battle raged on for hours, with the aliens and SCP-682 exchanging powerful blows and generating shockwaves with every collision. In the distance, the romantic alien duo male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched the battle unfold, their arms casually folded as they observed the chaos. As the battle reached its climax, SCP-682 and the giant aliens clashed in a final showdown, emitting oversized shockwaves from their collision. Big Chill used her wings to cover herself while Swampfire anchored himself to the ground with plant-like roots to avoid being blown away. After a devastating collision, SCP-682 and the giant aliens lay panting on the ground, their massive bodies causing a cloud of smoke to rise. Hummingosaur, in a weak tone, asked Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could awake again. With great effort, Swampfire pushed the tower, causing it to fall on top of the motionless SCP-682, burying it under rubble. Big Chill and Swampfire exchanged smiles and chuckles before returning to their portal, leaving Ben Tennyson, the wielder of the Omnitrix, sleeping soundly on his bed. In his sleep, Ben questioned the romantic alien duo about their escapades, unaware of the epic battle that had taken place. Big Chill and Swampfire sat on the sofa, arms crossed, as they recounted their adventure to the sleeping hero. As the night passed, the air was once again calm, but the memory of the fierce battle between SCP-682 and the alien giants lingered in the minds of those who witnessed it. The event-driven story of the epic showdown would be retold for years to come, a tale of bravery, strength, and the power of teamwork against all odds. It was a dark and stormy night, the air crackling with tension as SCP-682 faced off against the two giant aliens, Hummingosaur and Waybig. The ground shook beneath their massive forms as they clashed with each other, each trying to prove their dominance in the battle. As SCP-682 roared with fury, his green energy waves pushing back the towering aliens, Hummingosaur and Waybig responded with equal force. Waybig crossed his arms in an X-shaped manner, releasing cosmic rays that sent SCP-682 flying through the air, crashing into the ground with a deafening thud. Hummingosaur, now towering over SCP-682 with his spiked back and tail, lunged forward with a growl, aiming to rip apart the creature's limbs with his brute strength. But SCP-682 was not so easily defeated. Using his bladed tail and claws, he delivered heavy scratches to the bodies of the two aliens, causing explosions to erupt around them. In the distance, the romantic alien duo, male Swampfire and female Big Chill, watched the battle unfold with interest. Male Swampfire's plant-like body anchored him to the ground, while female Big Chill used her wings to shield herself from the shockwaves generated by the clash of titans. As the battle raged on for hours, the intensity of their attacks increased, generating shockwaves that could be felt for miles around. The ground trembled beneath their colossal forms, the very earth shaking with each blow. Finally, after 10 grueling hours of combat, SCP-682 and the giant aliens stood panting heavily, their bodies battered and bruised. Waybig and Hummingosaur collapsed to the ground, their massive forms generating clouds of smoke as they lay motionless. Hummingosaur weakly asked Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could awaken once more. With great effort, Swampfire managed to push the tower over, burying SCP-682 under a pile of rubble. As the dust settled, male Swampfire and female Big Chill exchanged a smile, their bond strengthened by the battle they had faced together. They made their way back to their portal, leaving Ben Tennyson, the sleeping hero, to rest peacefully in his bed. In his sleep, Ben mumbled a question to the romantic alien duo, curious about their adventures. With a chuckle, male Swampfire and female Big Chill sat by his side, arms crossed, ready to share their tales of bravery and victory in the face of danger. And as the storm raged on outside, the heroes drifted off to sleep, knowing that they had faced their fears and emerged victorious once more. Town of Bellwood, a fierce battle was taking place between SCP-682, Hummingosaur, and Waybig. The ground shook as the massive beings clashed with each other, their immense strength and size causing destruction all around them. The conflict between the powerful entities was a sight to behold, as they unleashed their devastating attacks on each other. SCP-682, known for its regenerative abilities and immense strength, was locked in a deadly struggle with the two giant aliens. Hummingosaur, with spikes covering his scaly body like a stegosaurus, and Waybig, a towering figure with cosmic powers, were determined to take down the formidable SCP-682. As the battle raged on, the sheer force of their attacks created shockwaves that shook the very foundations of the town. The ground trembled beneath their feet as they relentlessly fought on, each one unleashing their full power in an effort to gain the upper hand. Male Swampfire and female Big Chill, the romantic alien duo who had been watching from a distance, could only stand in awe of the spectacle before them. Their arms folded or crossed closed, they observed the epic clash with a mix of fascination and trepidation. 10 hours passed, with no clear victor in sight. The combatants continued to trade blows, their bodies battered and exhausted from the relentless battle. The air crackled with energy as they clashed with increasing ferocity, each one pushing themselves to the limit in a bid for supremacy. Finally, as the sun began to set on the horizon, SCP-682 and the two giant aliens stood facing each other, panting heavily from their exertions. Hummingosaur and Way Big, their massive bodies heaving, looked on at the fallen SCP-682, who lay motionless on the ground. With a weary sigh, Hummingosaur turned to Swampfire and Big Chill, his voice weak and exhausted. "Please," he said, gesturing towards a nearby tower, "throw that on SCP-682 before it wakes up again." Swampfire, using his plant-like abilities to anchor himself to the ground, struggled to lift the tower with all his might. He pushed and strained, his strength not as great as his adversaries, but with determination in his eyes, he managed to topple the tower onto SCP-682, burying the creature under a pile of rubble. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the defeated SCP-682 lay buried beneath the fallen tower, its reign of terror finally brought to an end. Male Swampfire and female Big Chill exchanged smiles and chuckles, their mission accomplished. Meanwhile, in a nearby house, Ben Tennyson slept soundly, oblivious to the epic battle that had taken place outside. His snoring filled the room as he lay on his back, his arm raised in his sleep. The romantic alien duo, now seated on a sofa near the bed, looked at Ben with amusement. "What do you suppose he dreams of?" Big Chill mused, her arms crossed in a casual pose. Swampfire chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Who knows," he replied, "but one thing's for sure, he won't forget this night anytime soon." With a final glance at the sleeping Ben, the two aliens got up from the sofa and disappeared through a portal, leaving behind a peaceful scene in the aftermath of a thrilling battle that had captivated them all. And as the night wore on, the town of Bellwood returned to its slumber, the echoes of the epic clash fading into memory. In the vast expanse of the universe, a mighty battle was about to unfold. SCP-682, the infamous indestructible reptilian creature, found itself facing off against two formidable foes from the Ben 10 universe, Hummingosaur and Way Big. The two aliens, now living independently out of the Omnitrix, had increased their size and strength to take on the unstoppable force that was SCP-682. Hummingosaur, with spikes covering his scaly back and tail like a stegosaurus, stood ready to take on the challenge. Despite his increased size, he was still dwarfed by Way Big, the towering alien with a red and white body the size of a skyscraper. Way Big's head fin and arm blades added to his imposing presence as the two aliens prepared to attack SCP-682 with all their might. The battle began with Way Big crossing his arms in an X-shaped manner, unleashing cosmic rays that struck SCP-682 and sent him crashing to the ground. But the reptilian creature was not one to back down easily. Emitting green energy waves from his roar, SCP-682 pushed back both Hummingosaur and Way Big before launching a counterattack with his bladed tail, causing explosions near the giant aliens. The fight raged on for hours, with each powerful being unleashing devastating blows and generating shockwaves with every collision. As the battle reached its climax, Big Chill and Swampfire, a romantic alien duo, watched from a distance, their arms crossed casually as they observed the spectacle unfolding before them. As SCP-682 and the two giant aliens clashed one final time, the shockwaves generated from their collision were so intense that even Big Chill had to use her wings to shield herself, while Swampfire rooted himself to the ground to avoid being blown away. The smoke cleared to reveal SCP-682 and the fallen bodies of Hummingosaur and Way Big, all panting heavily and barely able to stand. With their last ounces of strength, Hummingosaur pleaded with Swampfire to topple a nearby tower onto SCP-682 before it could awaken again. Despite his own exhaustion, Swampfire mustered up his remaining energy to push the tower, burying SCP-682 under the rubble and finally putting an end to the relentless creature's rampage. As the dust settled, the romantic alien duo shared a sweet moment of victory before retiring to their portal and leaving Ben Tennyson, the wielder of the Omnitrix, to peacefully slumber on his bed, oblivious to the epic battle that had taken place. The night was silent, save for Ben's heavy snoring and the distant echoes of a battle well fought. And so, in the vast expanse of the universe, the forces of good triumphed over evil once again, proving that even the most formidable foes could be defeated with courage, strength, and a touch of extraterrestrial romance. As the dust settled from the epic battle between SCP-682 and the two Ben 10 aliens, Hummingosaur and Way Big, the romantic alien duo, male Swampfire and female Big Chill, approached the fallen bodies of the defeated giants. The atmosphere was tense, as the two aliens panted heavily, their massive bodies heaving with exhaustion. Male Swampfire, his plant-like body glowing softly in the dim light, turned to female Big Chill with a concerned look on his face. "We need to make sure SCP-682 doesn't wake up again," he said in a low, urgent tone. "Let's take down that tower before it's too late." Female Big Chill nodded in agreement, her icy wings shimmering in the moonlight. Together, they walked over to the tower that loomed nearby, casting a long shadow over the battlefield. Male Swampfire summoned roots from his feet, anchoring himself to the ground as he pushed against the tower with all his might. The tower creaked and groaned as it began to tilt, the metal beams straining under the pressure. Female Big Chill stood by, her arms crossed casually as she watched the struggle unfold. With one final push, male Swampfire managed to topple the tower, sending it crashing down on top of SCP-682's motionless body. A loud crash echoed through the night as the rebel buried SCP-682 beneath its weight. The ground shook with the force of impact, sending a cloud of dust billowing into the air. Male Swampfire and female Big Chill exchanged smiles and chuckles, relieved that they had managed to contain the powerful creature once more. Meanwhile, Ben Tennyson, the wielder of the Omnitrix, lay sleeping on his bed, unaware of the chaos that had unfolded outside. His snores filled the room as he tossed and turned in his sleep, completely oblivious to the events that had transpired. In his dreams, Ben murmured softly, stirring slightly as if sensing the residual energy of the battle that had taken place. Male Swampfire and female Big Chill sat on the sofa nearby, their eyes fixed on Ben as he slept. Male Swampfire raised a hand to his lips, signaling for silence as they listened to Ben's mutterings. "What do you think he's dreaming about?" Female Big Chill whispered, her voice soft and curious. Male Swampfire chuckled quietly, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "Who knows," he replied. "Maybe he's dreaming of his next adventure as a hero." The two aliens watched over Ben, their expressions fond as they observed the sleeping hero. Despite the chaos and danger that surrounded them, there was a sense of peace and camaraderie between them. As the night stretched on, the room fell silent, save for the gentle sound of Ben's breathing. Male Swampfire and female Big Chill remained by his side, guardians in the darkness, ready to protect him from any danger that might come his way. And so, the night passed peacefully, with the romantic alien duo keeping watch over Ben Tennyson as he slept, unaware of the battles fought and victories won in the world beyond his dreams. Deep within a remote sector of the galaxy, a fierce battle was underway. SCP-682, the infamous indestructible reptilian anomaly, found itself facing off against two formidable foes from a distant planet, Humingosaur and Waybig, two colossal aliens from the popular Ben 10 series. Humingosaur, with his scaly back now adorned with menacing spikes resembling those of a stegosaurus, stood defiantly before Waybig, the towering alien with a red and white body the size of a skyscraper. The two aliens, now living independently outside of the Omnitrix, had teamed up to take down the seemingly unstoppable SCP-682. As the battle commenced, the ground shook with each thunderous step of the giant combatants. Waybig raised his arms in an X-shaped manner, releasing powerful cosmic rays that struck SCP-682 with incredible force, sending the beast crashing to the ground. Undeterred, SCP-682 retaliated with green energy waves emitted from its roar, pushing back both Humingosaur and Waybig. The fight escalated as Waybig and Humingosaur unleashed their massive size and strength, pummeling SCP-682 with their fists and attempting to rip apart its limbs. However, SCP-682's regenerative abilities proved to be a formidable defense, as it quickly healed any damage inflicted upon it. In the distance, the romantic alien duo male Swampfire and female Big Chill watched the battle unfold, their arms casually folded as they observed the clash of titans. With each collision and attack, shockwaves rippled through the air, creating a chaotic spectacle of power and destruction. As the battle raged on for hours, the combatants grew weary, their immense bodies straining under the weight of their relentless onslaught. Finally, in a climactic clash, SCP-682 and the giant aliens delivered a devastating blow, emitting oversized shockwaves that echoed across the battlefield. Male Swampfire used his plant-like abilities to anchor himself to the ground, while female Big Chill shielded herself with her icy wings to withstand the force of the collision. The smoke cleared, revealing SCP-682 and the fallen bodies of Humingosaur and Waybig, all panting heavily from the exertion of their epic battle. With Humingosaur and Waybig incapacitated, male Swampfire and female Big Chill approached the fallen aliens, deciding to bury SCP-682 under a toppled tower to ensure its defeat. As they watched the rubble settle, the romantic duo shared a sweet smile before retreating through a portal back to their own dimension. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Ben Tennyson slept soundly, unaware of the intergalactic conflict that had transpired. Even in his slumber, he mumbled about the heroic actions of the aliens, his arm raised in a gesture of victory. The events of that night would go down in legend, a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the enduring power of unity in the face of insurmountable odds. And as the stars faded into the dawn, the universe knew that SCP-682 had been bested, thanks to the courage and determination of those who dared to stand against it. Ben Tennyson, sleeping and snoring heavily. Male Swampfire, to female Big Chill, did you see the size of those aliens? They were massive. Female Big Chill, nodding, yeah, they were huge. But I'm glad we were able to help them defeat SCP-682. Male Swampfire, smirking, it was a tough battle, but we managed to come out on top. Female Big Chill, chuckling, you always know how to handle these situations, Swampfire. Male Swampfire, grinning, well, I have to protect my lady, don't I? Female Big Chill, blushing, oh, stop it. You're such a charmer. Male Swampfire, playfully, can't help it when I'm around such a beautiful lady like you. Female Big Chill, giggling, you're too much sometimes, Swampfire. Male Swampfire, winking, only for you, Big Chill. Ben Tennyson, mumbling in his sleep, what's going on over there? Male Swampfire, whispering to female Big Chill, looks like Ben is starting to wake up. We should probably go before he catches us. Female Big Chill, nodding, good idea. Let's head back through the portal before he realizes we were here. Male Swampfire, standing up, alright, let's go. Female Big Chill, getting up, thanks for everything, Swampfire. You're the best. Male Swampfire, smiling, anytime, Big Chill. Let's go back home. Ben Tennyson, opening his eyes slightly, huh? What's going on? Male Swampfire, quickly, nothing, Ben. Just go back to sleep. Everything is under control. Female Big Chill, waving, good night, Ben. Sweet dreams. Ben Tennyson, closing his eyes, good night, falls back asleep. Male Swampfire, chuckling, that was a close one. Let's go, Big Chill. Female Big Chill, following male Swampfire through the portal, let's go. Until next time, Ben disappears through the portal. Ben Tennyson, sleeping peacefully, snoring. The end.